Hello and welcome to True's Reviews with your host Emily True. This is the first of many in an album review podcast series, and we are going to start with the amazing This Could Be Heartbreak by the Amity Affliction. The Amity Affliction are a post-hardcore melodic metalcore band from Australia that formed in 2002 by bassist Aaron Stringer. The current lineup of the band consists of screamer Joel Birch, bassist Aaron Stringer, guitarist Dan Brown and drummer Ryan Burt. This wasn't the original lineup that Aaron put together in 2002, however it is a mashup of people they have found along the way. The Amity Affliction currently have 5 studio albums released: Severed Ties, Young Bloods, Chasing Ghosts, Let the Ocean Take Me, and This Could Be Heartbreak. This Could Be Heartbreak was released in the summer of 2016 and is the last album that the Amity Affliction will produce that focuses solely on mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. The Amity Affliction aren't typically well known in the UK, however their 5th studio album got them onto the cover of Rock Sound magazine and Kerrang magazine. Within these magazines they have had multiple interviews about different things such as Joel's depression, the album and what they plan to do next. According to screamer Joel Birch, he has said in interviews and posts online that the band's next album will be trying to focus on creating and following a narrative. This Could Be Heartbreak is also the last to feature drummer Ryan Burt, as he left the band at the beginning of 2018 due to mental health problems. As this album is Amity's last to focus on mental health, screamer Joel Birch has really gone all out in making sure fans know what he is really feeling. All of the lyrics are so raw and emotional that anyone listening can understand the pain that Joel is going through. In an interview, guitarist Dan Brown talks about the recording process of the album, how he feels about it and how screamer Joel is doing after the album's release.
We just kind of write songs and sing about things that are true and what we're feeling, so I think that connects better with people than it would if you were just writing because.
Yeah.
So, I guess whatever was going on at the time must have been heavy, so.
Well, I mean, it definitely touches on, like, the alcoholism and the depression.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That would be Joel.
Yeah.
He's always just written what's very close to him, and he went through a bit of stuff and he's come out the other end okay, thankfully, and I guess it's kind of nice for people listening, and they are very heavy songs, but then if you go to the guy that wrote it and you go, well, he's doing okay, he must have got through it, it kind of gives, our listeners a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel.
Place the pennies on my eyes. I'll sleep with the stars tonight.
At least the band were able to find a positive ending to a negative album. To anyone that is an Amity fan, you know Joel is recovering, and to those who aren't a fan, hearing this sort of music and emotion can seem scary, but it's nice to know the Amity Affliction can reassure us that their screamer is in fact okay. Unlike the Amity Affliction's 2014 album Let the Ocean Take Me, This Could Be Heartbreak is very much in your face. Let the Ocean Take Me was more subtle and directed towards the audience, whereas This Could Be Heartbreak is focused on Joel and how he feels. Because of this, Amity fans, or anyone listening, gets taken on an emotional journey through the album. It goes through Joel's depression, alcoholism and drug abuse, and also gives off a very strong vibe that Joel wants to give up. Me personally, as a fan of the band, I believe that Joel used this album as a way to experiment with release. Although the topic doesn't change, the delivery style does. Unlike anything Amity has done before, they have included an almost acoustic song which only has singer Aaron in it. But the next song on the album is mostly screamer Joel. The contrast of the two are so powerful, it really makes you think. One song is completely about how life is completely messed up, and the other one is about how life is something worth living for and that Joel needs to get better. It's just the most contrasting songs you could put together on an album, and being one after another in the middle of the album is something like really, really powerful.
Don't be so quick to shut me out. I know it's hard to face the day, but we can make it out together. Feel your nightmares slip away.
Although most songs on the album are very much what you see is what you get, there are a few that aren't quite as clear. For example, the track Wishbone seems just like the rest of the album, but it does have a deeper meaning. In a written interview with Kerrang! Magazine, screamer Joel admitted that Wishbone is a song that tells people that he feels he can't do everything on his own. He said to Kerrang! That he is trying to balance band life, friendships, relationships, fatherhood and mental illnesses all at the same time, and it's really difficult. From my own observations and listening to the song, I think Joel is counting on luck to get him through. This is because wishbones are typically broken and you only get a wish if you get the bigger half. This is based purely on luck and whether the person you're pulling the wishbone with is stronger than you or not. To support this, in the song, Joel actually does say, "I'm meant to be a man, but I can't carry everything." And then it goes into Aaron singing the chorus.
I'm meant to be a man, but I can't carry everything on my own. Counting on a wishbone. Oh, I've seen so long.
This, of course, is my own theory and hasn't been proven or disproven by the band members, so it's up to you to believe it or not, but I feel like it fits quite well with the story of the album. Wishbone is towards the end of the album, which is where the songs seem to become more hard-hitting and you can't ignore what the Amity Affliction are saying. For example, the last song on the album, Blood in My Mouth, is, to put it simply, a beautifully harrowing song. There is definitely a deep meaning behind the lyrics, however fans are just left guessing. The band as a whole have said in interviews that Blood in My Mouth is so deep that they can't bring themselves to talk about it. Bassist Aaron Stringer even admitted on social media that while recording the song, he cried. Everyone involved with that song was hit by it. Because of this, the Amity Affliction have said that the song won't be spoken about or played live. Screamer Joel Birch has said online about how it was too personal for him to ever play live. However, Blood in My Mouth isn't the only song with a deep meaning. Track 4, Tearing Me Apart, is brutally honest and in your face. It's one of my favourites on the album, so let's take a listen.
Death is calling out my name. He knows I'm not afraid of dying. He knows to me it's all the same. But there is so much on the line. I have to find a better way. I have to find my own redemption. Find the urge to drift away. I had to hold you in my heart. I have to hold you in my heart. So I can live another day. Live another day. Oh, it's tearing me apart. All this pain inside, liquor in my veins, panic on my mind. Tearing me apart. All this pain inside, searching for the peace I will never find. Tearing me apart. Oh, it's tearing me apart. Tearing me apart. Oh, it's tearing me apart. Tearing me apart. Oh my God, I'm missing you. At my window, all the world is painted perfectly in blue. Time is moving slowly, and my heart searches slowly for you. And the reflections on the water, and the movement of the leaves, under the stones by the river, and the shade beneath the trees. My heart will keep on searching. I heard your lips around the breeze. I turn my head to catch your shadow. There was nothing there for me. My heart is breaking slowly. Oh my God, I'm missing you. I've been searching out the window in my world of pallid blue, and I keep checking my shadow in an empty room. My heart is breaking slowly. Oh my God, I'm missing you. Oh my God, I'm missing you. The miles stretch between us, they're getting hard to bear. And more I find myself lost in melancholy stare. My heart will keep on searching. I heard your lips around the breeze. I turn my head to catch your shadow. There was nothing there for me. My heart is breaking slowly. Oh my God, I'm missing you. I've been searching out the window in my world of pallid blue, and I keep checking my shadow in an empty room. My heart is breaking slowly. Oh my God, I'm missing you. Do I surrender to the blue? Because I'm drowning without you. Spend my time staring at the sun, just waiting to come undone. The sound of static in my head. My heart is heavy, lips are lead. Sick of living in a world so cold. I can't, I will, and still stay close. I know I'm doing the right thing. This is where I'm meant to be. I've been gone for too long now. I just want you here with me. Oh my God, I'm missing you. I've been searching out the window in my world of pallid blue, and I keep checking my shadow
was Tearing Me Apart and OMG IMY by the Amity Affliction. Tearing Me Apart is one of the main songs to stand out on this album as it is so forward and speaks about Joel's feelings quite openly. This is quite apparent in the song right from the start. The first verse says, "Smoke in my lungs, liquor in my veins, fear in my eyes, panic in the way, I don't think I'll make it out, make it through the day, clench my teeth and close my eyes, just make this go away." This verse just highlights that Screamer Joel is dealing with a lot of stuff in one go. He is smoking and drinking to numb himself, which is affecting his mental illnesses. The Amity Affliction and Joel himself has said that anxiety and depression are the main struggles for the band. With Joel drinking and smoking, he is making his anxiety worse, hence he says there's panic in the way. The last line, "clench my teeth and close my eyes, just make this go away," to me personally says that Joel is gritting through his suffering. It sounds like Joel is numbing himself and is afraid he won't come out of this illness, he just wants it all to go away.
Comes around. Yeah, what goes around comes around.
The Amity Affliction aren't the only band, and Joel isn't the only musician that suffers from these issues. Many other musicians are and have suffered in silence with mental health issues. Unless recognised and treated, we lose a lot of people. They take their own lives to make everything better. Two examples of this is Kurt Cobain and more recently Chester Bennington. Both of them were inspirational musicians and loving husbands and fathers who suffered with depression. Kurt Cobain once said in an interview that he acts like a junkie and has become a junkie because people have told him he looks like one. This sort of attitude led to addictions and depression from pretending to be someone he isn't. This eventually led him to take his own life in 1994. 2017 saw us lose Linkin Park frontman Chester Bennington. Despite having friends and family all around him, he still got lost in his head and was having a hard time. And although he spoke about this in interviews and through his songs, no one really listened enough to get him help. He had support, but not enough. So despite the Amity Affliction being one of the more obvious bands to talk about depression, a lot of other artists suffer and don't make it out the other side, like Screamer Joel. In tribute of Chester Bennington and the topics being spoken about, I've made a short clip of Chester's last interview where he talks about depression mixed with Linkin Park's song One More Light.
I don't know if anybody out there can relate, but like, I have a hard time with life sometimes. Right. Sometimes it's great, but a lot of times for me, it's really hard.
Just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there.
I drive myself nuts, like actually thinking that like all these are real problems. Like all the stuff that's going on in here is actually just, I'm doing this to myself. It's like I can experience the whole spectrum of humanity and not want to get out of it, whether it's happiness, sadness, or whatever. Like I just want to, like when I'm in it, I just want to get out of however I'm feeling, no matter what it is. I feel like I understand people or humanity a little bit differently because I've been through some pretty crazy stuff, and that's a positive.
The loss of someone to depression is always hard, as in most people it is a concealed issue. Musicians who suffer with this tend to express themselves and let out any built-up emotion through their lyrics. The link between music and depression is something that people speculate, but no one is sure as to whether we listen to music for an escape or if listening to music too often is causing depression. Either way, mental health is something that tends to be overlooked, so I personally feel that listening to music that talks about it helps an audience feel less alone. This then helps them relate to the musicians, so although they can't directly help each other, the support is still there, which seems to be a really key thing for the Amity Affliction's This Could Be Heartbreak. Not all bands and musicians will be as open about their feelings as the Amity Affliction are. Their lyrics aren't subtle and they don't hide anything from their fans. Everything about this album is so raw and just highlights the importance of friendship, family and support when battling any form of mental demons. Screamer Joel feels as though this album is sort of an open letter to everyone, letting them know how he feels and how he is struggling, but how he's trying to get over it and become a better person. As I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, Joel goes through a journey with the listener, and track 6 highlights a sort of epiphany where Joel realises what he is going through and that he wants to try and get through it. In the song called Fight My Regret, he says, "I swear I can do this, just need to pull through it, fight my regret, I swear there's hope left." The lyrics are basically self-explanatory as Joel regrets what he's done in the past and he wants to get over it, get through the repercussions of his alcohol and drug abuse.
I swear I can do this, just need to pull through it, fight my regret, I swear there's hope left. Failure on repeat,
Before I conclude the podcast and the review, I might as well finish with the final song of the album, taken from the Amity Affliction's website. Blood in My Mouth makes for a harrowing yet utterly compelling listening. The fact that Joel Birch is far less metaphorical only adds to the emotional impact. This is one of the songs where you can draw a lot of imagery from the lyrics. The whole album, although, is a mentally visually one. When asked about the song and the whole album, Screamer Joel has said, "I'm not mincing my words so much, I'm telling you what I'm feeling, what I'm going through."
On my own, counting on a wishbone.
That's all I have time for today, unfortunately. I sincerely hope you check out This Could Be Heartbreak, and if you've been affected by anything I've spoken about or know someone else that is struggling, please talk to someone. Don't let it get unnoticed. Take a page from Joel's book, release everything and push through it. Until next time, here's the final song of the Amity Affliction's album, Blood in My Mouth.